Is there really anyone in this planet who likes to clean? Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Anastasia and I'm here to inspire you to develop yourself in a feminine way. Today I would like to tell you about two life-changing lessons that I went through: mindset and attitude. The first time that I've heard the sentence, "you're responsible for your own life," I felt the same way that most people feel. I thought that this sentence was very unfair, and I was asking questions like, yeah, really? Am I responsible for bad weather? Am I responsible for the train coming too late? Am I responsible for my colleagues being in a bad mood and not doing their job? And well, no. The answer is no, I'm not responsible for the bad weather. But I am responsible for dressing inappropriately and feeling cold now. And no, I am not responsible for the train coming too late. However, I am responsible for planning my commute poorly or for not leaving the house 10 minutes earlier so that I could catch up the earlier train that was on time. And no, I'm also not responsible for my colleagues being in a bad mood, but I might be responsible for not being able to cheer them up and help them out when they need help. So once I went through a lot of emotional struggle and resistance, I realized that this is the most powerful realization I've had in my life. I am responsible for my own life. Me, only me and nobody else. Everything that's happening to me in my life is a result of my own choices, my own actions, my own behavior, and everything I do that all influences my life. And it is in my power and only in my power to change my life for the better. So the crucial moment for me personally to change this mindset was after my third relationship failed apathy. I started thinking about why did it fail? My boyfriends in those relationships never blamed me for anything. They never complained that I did something wrong or mistreated them in any way or didn't give enough for our relationship. And after the first two failed, I was completely convinced that I am the angel and that I did absolutely nothing wrong and they're just evil guys, and well, the next one is going to be the one. However, after the third relationship failed, I started thinking that what the heck, why did it fail again? And I started looking for similarities, and ironically enough, the most common thing between those three relationships was me. So I had to admit that I might have been the problem why those relationships failed. I'll be honest, it was extremely unpleasant to realize, but it was also very crucial and extremely important for me to actually shift my view from searching for someone to blame towards my own self and trying to figure out what is it that I can improve in my own self and how can I take responsibility for my life and for my relationships in specific, and how can I improve my own behavior and what is it that I did that failed the previous relationships. I remember also during the time searching a lot of information and I was reading a lot of articles from different psychologists. And there was this article that kind of impressed me the most. And that article gave an example of a woman being married to a man who's beaten her. And the explanation was that the woman was attracting that man because she didn't have enough self-confidence. And she thought that it was acceptable that the man is beating her. Of course, she was extremely miserable about it. But still, deeply, deeply inside, she didn't respect her own self enough to just think, what is it? Why am I even allowing him to beat me? Like, go away, leave. Which is why that woman could also break up with the guy and then start a new relationship and end up dating a very similar kind of person who would beat her again. just because by interrupting the relationship, she doesn't solve the problem of her own inner lack of confidence and self-respect. Shocked by that example, I looked back at my own relationships and I realized that my own pattern was that I was dating guys who were heartbroken and who didn't believe in love. So I would approach that relationship with a very strong belief that it's my personal mission to heal them and to prove them that love does exist. And ironically enough, once I have healed them and once I have changed their attitude about love and relationship, they were ready to move on, to open up their hearts and go and love a different person, not me. And I was left with nothing but disappointment in the end. Well, after the third one, I also was left with lots of experience and very important realizations that helped me to improve my life. So at least I got some lessons learned. So yes, I was determined for this time I would take my fate in my own hands and I would take full responsibility for my life and I wouldn't rely on anyone. And I definitely won't engage into any other relationship that I would want to fix before it even started. I mean, how sick is that? Every time I think about it now, when I look back, it makes me go like, why go? Why? Along with this mindset change about responsibility, I also had a different mindset change, which was in order to be loved, you need to love your own self. It sounded very weird for me at first, but the longer I thought about it, the more I realized that if I can't love my own self, why on earth would anybody else love me? So it was a very important step in my life to learn to love myself. Moreover, to learn to not depend on anyone else for my own personal happiness. So I used to heavily rely on my boyfriends to make me happy. And after that magical third relationship, I just realized that I can't do that. It's not a good pattern. It's not a good way to live your life. So I started exploring myself, exploring and identifying the things that I like and that bring me joy, that don't involve any other people. It was very character forming for me because for the first time in my life, I dared to tell myself that this is something I don't like and this is something I like. And there were, like those little things that you don't think are important, but they are extremely important. Like, for example, I realized that I don't like to party. I don't like nightclubs. It's not something that gives me joy. I prefer to go to a quiet event where I can actually talk to people with whom I'm meeting, rather than just go party and hear nothing and just waste my energy. I realized that I shouldn't have people in my life who would force me to go and spend my energy on something that didn't bring me any joy. And instead, I should focus more on people who actually like the same way of time spending that I do. Or I realize that I like to get up early. I don't like to sleep in late. It also made me kind of decide that in my future relationship, I should ask my potential boyfriend whether he sleeps in late or whether he likes to get up early. And I chose this random, tiny life detail to be important to myself because you know what? I can. And I allowed myself to be able to choose it. So once I have accepted the responsibility for my own life and learned how to love myself, amazing transformation happened in my life. I suddenly became more relaxed. I started to enjoy my life much more. I had more energy. All of my childhood dreams that I kept in my mind but never hoped that they might come true started coming true one after another, like one by one. And I was so impressed. I'm still impressed at how much power I have gained over my life once I have changed my mindset. And I think that even though it is a rather complicated thing to do, because changing your mindset is always complicated and changing yourself is in general complicated, but it is possible and it can give you so much power and happiness in a long-term perspective that I really encourage you to give it a try. Let me know in the comments what are your thoughts about this mindset of being responsible for your own life and for the importance of loving your own self. The other life-changing lesson for me was changing my attitude towards a more positive one. I haven't always been a positive person. I consider myself one now, but when I was a teenager, I was depressed probably most of the time. I was really very much into drama. I literally think that I enjoyed feeling miserable. And then I slowly started trying to replace every negative narrative in my mind with a positive one. For example, instead of thinking, oh, it's horrible weather, it's raining again, I would try to think on a rainy day, oh, it's so cozy. Or if I'm outside and I don't have an umbrella and it suddenly starts to rain, instead of thinking, oh, damn it, I'm gonna get wet and cold, I would try to find a hiding spot and try to search for a rainbow in the rain because, there is always one. Or I would just put my hand out of my little hiding spot and just feel how water is touching my skin and how nice it smells and how everything just changes and how the sky changes its color and how the air changes and how much magic there is in rain. And I also made it a habit to try to find something positive in every single situation in my life. And at first it was very hard, of course, but right now I pretty easily find something positive in every situation in my life. And that makes my life much easier and much, much more pleasant. I also want to talk about attitude towards cleaning. Many girls build up the attitude you have to clean because you're a girl. That is also the attitude that I used to have when I still lived with my parents. I probably have picked it up from my mom. I don't blame her because she just didn't know better that what she picked up from her mom and her mom picked it from her mom. And it was in fact presented to me like I have to clean because I'm a woman. However, later in my life, as I was searching more information for self-development, I also was very lucky to discover this absolutely amazing, inspiring woman, Maria Leda. She's a Russian woman who's married to an Italian man. She has 2 children and her own business. And she's one of the most feminine and inspiring and successful women whom I've managed to meet in my life. And I'm very grateful to her for one of the lessons she taught me. She taught me to not hate cleaning. She helped me to shift my attitude from I have to clean because I'm a woman towards I'm a woman. I am a beautiful, wonderful human being, and it is amazing and extremely enjoyable to live in a clean house. And that is exactly why I clean. I clean because I want to live in a pretty, clean, cozy, organized house. Because I love myself, and now when I clean out of love to my own self and not out of necessity towards some society beliefs. Sometimes I meet people who think that I have a clean house because I like to clean, and I usually just smile at that because I personally don't believe that there is a single person on this planet who really likes to clean. Maybe except for Monica from Friends. Yeah, but I'm not an exception. I don't like to clean. I don't think that it's an extremely enjoyable activity to do, but I do have a very beneficial attitude towards cleaning. As I already explained, I do it out of love. I also try to combine cleaning time with something useful or pleasant, like listening to a podcast or music or dancing as I clean. That just makes it less of a trouble activity and more like I don't know, almost meditation. I know that it's extremely important for me when I start cleaning to not focus on the thoughts of, oh, I have to get over with it. I have to clean this bathroom and then one more, and it's so much effort, and I don't want to. I just want to lie on the couch and read a book. I stop myself. I don't allow myself to engage in such thought. Instead, I think about it. Oh, it's gonna feel so nice to look at a clean bathroom. And once I'm done, I can have a bubble bath. I also think about how nice my living room is gonna smell once I mop it, and how fresh it's gonna be, and how I can then lie on the couch and read my book while looking at a nicely cleaned apartment and not at a mess. I can't really relax when I look at a mess. I just shift my focus from thinking about how much I don't like to clean towards thinking about how much I do like being in a clean home. Let me know in the comments what is your least favorite and most annoying household duty, and I will help you to shift your attitude towards a more positive one. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, subscribe for more videos about self-development in a feminine way. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you next time. Bye! They smell so nice.